It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brittany Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege and honor to interview the U.S. water skiing Brittany Greenwood. How are you doing today?
Good, Brandon. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start competing in water skiing?
Well, our family is a water ski family, so I kind of got put into it and was encouraged to ski at a really young age. But I will say at a young age, probably around 7, 8, 9, I decided that I truly did love water skiing and I wanted to continue competing and having fun with it.
What was that like getting started at such a young age of 7 and 9?
It was fun. We did a lot of tournaments in the summer growing up in Arkansas. There wasn't a lot of kids, so whenever we went to tournaments in Texas or Louisiana, we got to see other kids skiing, and that was kind of what drove the excitement, was to have those other relationships and then also to compete and see, those kids in different places. Hey, I want to go and try to be better than them next summer and the summer after that, and kind of keep going.
What was it like, obviously, getting started in college at Lafayette?
So whenever I started in Lafayette in 2012, I actually was coming in off of an injury. So I wasn't in the best state of mind with my skiing, but getting to ski for the University of Louisiana at Lafayette was awesome because water skiing is an individual sport. So whenever we started skiing for collegiate, it's a team sport. So that was kind of brought me back to whenever we were younger, you're just running around with your friends, which is what we did at tournaments. And I got to ski with new people. I got to have new insight on my skiing, which excited me. It kind of gave me a new fuel for the fire, reignited my passion for skiing. I got to help others sit in the boat, drive, coach, things like that. So it was such a good experience going to UL, and then finishing up my last year of skiing, we won the national championship. So that was really, really special.
What was that feeling like, as you said, in your last year of water skiing, winning that national championship?
It was like no other. I swear all of us were completely in sync. Our team really was on fire. We were performing really well. We were all rooting for each other. We were all supportive of each other. Everybody was at the lake at the similar times. We would ski on the weekends that we didn't have tournaments, riding in the boat for each other, helping each other dial in skis, dial in technique. So whenever we won, especially as we had gotten second the 3 years previously, it was such a great feeling to finally accomplish that championship and bring it back home to Lafayette. And we got to have some fun and celebrate and really cherish a lot of the moment that happened, because a lot of people on the team got personal bests. I know I got a personal best in some of my event, and some of the other girls and guys, they kind of had to put on their shoes and say, hey, I got to compete and I got to do good. And we were able to do it, and it was really, really cool.
Of course, during that run of winning the national championship, what was that like, as you said, winning, and not just winning, but having your personal best?
Well, I had to work pretty hard because I competed in slalom, trick, and jump at that time, where that was my overall score. Now I'm solely a jump specialist, but slalom skiing had always been my weakest event. So we knew as a team, if we could bring some of those weaker scores up, we would really have a chance. So I slalomed a lot more that semester and that summer, and I had Cole Grant, Jarrett Bull, some of my teammates at the time sit in the boat for me, Charlotte Wharton, Taryn Grant. They were driving for me and they were encouraging me because they were some really good slalom skiers and still are. I ended up getting a personal best, and I was the first skier of the day. And so we were all so excited. And so we really just kind of kept that going throughout the rest of the day. And then honestly, the next couple of days of competition, we just never let that go. That energy just kept going. We stayed ahead of everybody and just kept it rolling.
Of course, what was that like competing in tricks?
So I always enjoyed tricking. It was very unique because you had to work on a skill quite a lot, and you had to make sure that you were getting credit for your trick. And that's something that I really enjoy, is kind of like honing in on skills. And it's fun because every day is going to be different. You might be doing a trick and you've been making that trick for all summer, and then all of a sudden you fall on it and you fall on it and you fall on it. Well, you have to kind of go back to the drawing board, figure out what were my keys previously to make me be successful at that trick, and how can I kind of unfold that and be successful again. So it was really fun. And I actually got better at tricking in college, which normally that doesn't happen. At a certain age, you don't keep learning new tricks and excelling. And honestly, some of the girls that I was tricking with at school, Janina Bonneman, she's one of the best trickers in the world. Like, she helped me a lot. So it was really fun to keep tricking. I get out there and do it a little bit now, but not as much as some of the other things.
Of course, what was that feeling like getting to put on that first collegiate water suit for Raging Cajun?
It was pretty cool, especially as my parents went to the rivalry school at Monroe in Louisiana, who they had won most of the championships up until like the recent years. So I definitely took a lot of pride in our Raging Cajun gear, and I still wear it to this day, and wear it proudly around some of those Monroe people and around my parents. Yeah, Raging Cajuns are pretty special.
What was that like, obviously, leaving college and getting into the U.S. circuit and competing for the U.S. national team?
It was a slow start, I will say, as I was finishing school and then kind of trying to start my career as a dietitian. But I have really good mentors in my corner. I have some really good coaches in my corner. So I don't feel like I had to take too many steps to get to where I wanted to. Basically, once I was done with school and I started working that next summer, I was competing at the World Championships. And I had been competing in some pro tournaments along the way, but I really didn't have as much success until I was pretty much done with school and actually working, which is kind of funny because that doesn't usually happen.
What is that like, obviously, balancing, as you say, and being a dietitian and being a professional water skiing?
It's a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, dedication. I definitely have to be on top of my time. Time management is really big. I mean, even today, this morning, I'm up well before 5 a.m. going to the gym before work, and then working a full day. And then once I'm done with work, maybe I run an errand after work, and then I'm at the lake ready to ski so that I can kind of get everything in. Luckily, my family is really, really supportive, and they're able to help out with the little nuances of cooking dinner and, you know, helping out with random chores. But definitely a lot of time management, and figuring out how to get some vacation so I can go to these tournaments is another part of it too.
What was that feeling like the first time you got to put on that wetsuit for Team USA and have Team USA running down your side?
So that was actually a very unique and surprising moment. So in 2019, we were in Malaysia for the World Championships, and I was actually going to compete as an individual. I wasn't on the US team as a team member. I was still on the US team, but there was a skier that actually got hurt right before they left to come to Malaysia, and they decided to back out, and they were going to be filling that jump spot. Well, that jump spot was now open, and they had to look at some of those individual members that needed to be filling in that 6-man team, and my name came across the desk, and they chose me to be on the team to make up that extra score. So I was not expecting to be on the team since they already had the team picked, but it was really, really such an honor to be on the U.S. team, especially as it was my first World Championship. So very, very cool. And I'm always happy to rep USA.
Of course, what was that feeling like, as you said, getting that call and that call up to come join the Team USA team?
It was pretty exciting. I did travel to Malaysia by myself, so I didn't have family there to, more or less celebrate with. And they were like, whatever, 12, 14-hour difference. So whenever it was nighttime for us, it was daytime for them, vice versa. But I did have quite a lot of family friends that were there that I was able to kind of celebrate with. But it was still business, right? So I did feel a little bit of extra pressure since my score was going to matter not only for me but for the team. So it kind of brought me back to my collegiate days where, yes, I'm an individual score, but I'm making up a team score. So it was kind of nice to be able to be in that situation, to know, hey, we gotta fight for this. We have to fight for every point. We have to fight for every buoy, every foot, everything like that, to really try to make a run at the gold, which we ended up getting silver, but still very proud of that too.
How is that like, obviously, getting to compete in Malaysia?
Ooh, that was very interesting. We were out kind of in the middle of this big lake, in the middle of, I don't want to say in the middle of nowhere, but this lake was just wide open, where typically we are skiing on man-made lakes or something that has a little bit more water control. It was very, very windy. I'm not sure if I've actually ever jumped in that much wind by choice. I think I've only skied in wind like that in competition. It was very challenging, but it was very rewarding because I still performed very well, and I was proud of my performance there, especially being in a foreign country, not with my family, not really having a coach with me. I was just doing it on my own merit. I didn't go over there to be on the Team USA team. I was just going by myself, and I wanted to go and get some experience, really is what that whole goal to go to Malaysia was for. And I did that. I got the experience. I think I ended up 7th, which I was really proud of for my first World Championships. But it was definitely experience. The food was different, but it was good.
Of course, how long does it take you to practice your water skiing tricks?
So for jumping, which is my specialty, it actually doesn't take all that long. But if you think about like the warm-up time usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes, give or take whatever mental preparation you're doing that doesn't factor into the physical warming up. And then a practice set can take about 10 minutes. And then for me, I'm always trying to make sure that I'm doing any kind of injury prevention. So I'm doing some icing afterwards. I know some of my friends, like Lauren Morgan, she really likes to use the ice bath. But I'm doing some icing and kind of some cool down protocols. Also doing some talking with my dad or my fiance about, hey, what can we do better next time? What was good about that set? So it could really come down to be about 30 minutes, 45 minutes of mentally and physically being invested into one run or one set of jumping.
What was it like for you to get to compete in the Junior World Championship and get to represent Team USA traveling to Italy?
So that was also something kind of unexpected, as I want to say like 15 at the time. I didn't really know there was a Junior World Championships. I knew that I was very competitive and I was very good at what I did, but I didn't know that there was anything beyond like the national level. And some international events, but I didn't really know what that entailed. And we didn't have the social media and all of the websites and everything we do now. But I remember my dad, he said, hey, I want to share something with you. And he said, we have a plane ticket to Italy. And I said, okay. great. I didn't really know what that meant. And he said, we're going to go to the junior worlds. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Not really knowing what that entailed, that I'm going to fly to Europe for the first time. I'm going to go compete against all these girls I've never met before. Lo and behold, they're some of my best friends now. I went to college with them. And then, do a personal best at that time in this foreign country. So it was a very special time to be able to go and be a young athlete and go and compete and have all these new experiences.
What was that like, obviously getting to compete internationally?
It was fun, especially going as such a young age. A lot of our parents went with us, so we would go and eat together. I was meeting new people, kind of like I said, like a lot of people I'm still friends with now, but hearing new accents. I remember hearing like so many people from New Zealand, and then we have Australians, we have British people, we have people from South America. So it was just, honestly, it was kind of like a vacation in a way, but like a sports vacation, because there was definitely focus. But it was good memories.
What are some of your favorite memories and moments competing in water skiing?
I would say winning the national championship was definitely pretty special. And then last year, jumping over the 180-foot mark, which only a handful of women in the world have actually ever done. So that's probably some of my big highlights, memories.
Of course, how was that like, getting to compete in that race and getting to jump at such a high level, and one day, obviously now becoming in the record book?
That was a mini goal I had set last summer, to jump over 180 feet. And, it wasn't that I didn't think I could do it. It was just something that needed to get done. But it was just a matter of time. And I had previously jumped 177 feet. And I said, okay, 3 more feet. Like, that's really not that much. But there's a lot that goes into that. You got to be strong, got to keep your technique going. You have to keep injury free. And you also have to have the confidence and the mental capacity to stay focused when you are skiing. And it was pretty surreal, because once I jumped that distance and I landed, I knew I had done it, because I had been doing it in practice. But it's one thing to do it in practice, and it's another thing to do it and execute it in a tournament, in competition. So that was really, really fulfilling and made me very happy. But there's definitely more, and going to keep going further.
Of course, for my listeners that don't know, what is water skiing and what are water sports?
So water skiing is the traditional water skiing is comprised of 3 events. So you have slalom skiing, which is one ski where you go around 6 buoys at a certain speed, and then at a certain point you go to a max speed. You're speeding up until that point, and then once you've reached the max speed and you continue to go around all 6 buoys, you have the rope shortened to make it harder for you to reach those buoys. And then if you don't complete it, you're done. Tricking is kind of like shortboard, shorter than a wakeboard is what we kind of like to call it, but going a little bit slower, doing some flips, doing spins, doing tricks over the wake. And then also toe tricking, which is where you actually put your foot in the handle. And it kind of looks like dancing on the water, ballerina-esque, ice skater-esque. So they're doing spins. And then my specialty is the water ski distance jumping. So you are cutting out to one side of the boat, another side of the boat, and then you're cutting at the ramp, and then you're flying through the air for max distance. You're trying to land as far away from the ramp as possible. Really similar looking to snow ski jumping in the air with those long snow skis and kind of pressing into those skis. So if you're someone that does all three, you're an overall skier, which is kind of what I alluded to earlier, but jumping is my specialty now.
Of course, what is that feeling like going at such high speeds in the water and then quickly getting able to jump?
It is very fun. You know, it's hard to continue to hit the ramp every day on your body because you actually are going and hitting the ramp at such high speed and then making that impact and then impacting the water. I was actually thinking about it the other day, and I was like, man, it is so fun to practice my cuts without having the ramp in the way. But it is even more fun to fly through the air and have like this weightless feeling for it's less than 2 seconds. It's nothing really, but it is truly amazing that we are flying through the air, especially like you said, like at a high speed. It's controlled for the most part, but it's definitely a sight to see.
What was it like getting to compete in the Masters in 2001 and 12?
So it was pretty awesome. Yeah, so 2011, I did really well. I got second, and I was really happy with that as a junior. And then 2012 actually didn't end up too good. I made it to the finals, but then I crashed in the finals, which is where my injury came into play going into college, which was not good. But I redeemed myself this year in the Open Masters. I ended up getting to the finals, which was the ultimate goal, and then I placed second this year. So I was happy to come back after 10 years and finally redeem myself.
Of course, what has that been like getting to travel to Spain and getting to compete in the World Championship for under 21?
So the under 21 championship was really special as well. All good memories. I can always pick something out of all of them. But my brother and I, we both got to go and compete. So we were both in the under 21 category. My dad went with us as well. And it was pretty awesome because we both made the finals in jumping. And then I ended up fourth, and I was really happy with the way that I skied. So it was nice to be able to go home with a smile on my face.
What was that like getting to travel to Japan for the University World Championship tour?
So this was another really, really cool, super special experience. Lauren Morgan was actually on the team with me. There was 6 of us. My brother was on the team with me, Lauren's younger sister, Jenna, and then 2 other guys, which I actually was in school with, Dane Meckler, and then Dylan Schaefer. So there were 6 of us. My dad went with us. Dylan's parents were there, and then my pawpaw, my dad's dad, went all the way to Japan with us. It was a 12-hour flight. He was 80 years old, and he made that trip so much fun. He made friends with everybody. We rode back and forth from the hotel to the lake every day on a bus, and he sat by someone new every day. Everybody knew who Papa was by the end. But I will say I had a really, really good performance there. I slalom, tricked, and jumped, made all the finals, which was really, really big. And then I ended up getting 3rd overall, and then we won the team medal. So that was super cool.
How's that like, obviously getting to travel the world and going to all these different countries to compete in water skiing?
It's definitely one way to travel the world. It's more unconventional, I guess you could say. Some people go and travel for vacation. Some people go and travel to seek out food, to seek out wine. They go for cruises, what have you. But it's definitely going to be something that I can say, oh, I went here and I skied here. oh, I got to travel to Poland and ski there. I went to go to Japan and ski there. And yes, all those places were amazing, but it's honestly the people that you're with that make up those really, truly good experiences. And then you might remember the skiing or you might not.
What is that feeling like getting to put on that water wetsuit and have Team USA running down your side?
It's a pretty good feeling. It's definitely something I never take for granted. Pretty lucky to have.
Who are some of the people that you look up to in the sport of water skiing?
So whenever I was growing up, I looked up to Mandy Nightingale, who was a really awesome and still is trick skier, world record holder. She played basketball in college and tried to play in the WNBA. And I played basketball growing up, and she only lived a few hours away. So she would come and ski with us. And I always thought she was amazing and still is. And then Regina Jaquist, who I ski against now, I thought it was very encouraging to see someone that had a career. She's a compounding pharmacist and a water skier, professional water skier. And so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have a career and still be a professional water skier. And she kind of led that pathway for it. And I feel like I've been able to accomplish that with my career and skiing as well.
Of course, how's it like getting to compete with Lauren Morgan, Mary Howell, and also Dallas Friday?
It's pretty awesome. Those girls are great. Lauren and I have been competing against each other since we were 12. So we have a really, really special relationship, especially because we are U.S. Athletes, water skiers, and jumpers. So we've been able to kind of support each other, especially the past couple of years. Kind of going back to jumping 180 for the first time. She was there. She also jumped 180 for the first time. So it was really special to share those moments with her and keep moving forward and traveling and competing against her is pretty cool too. And then Mary Morgan in Dallas, they're great athletes as well.
How does it feel to have a U.S. water skier behind your last name?
It's definitely an identity, I would say. Whenever someone sees the Greenwood name, they see or they think, oh yeah, do you water ski, or do you don't you guys have that lake out there, and don't y'all water ski? So it's an interesting identity, but definitely something I'm proud of.
How does that feel, obviously, to live out your family legacy of water skiing?
It definitely feels good since my dad has built this lake and kind of built our family around skiing, wanting us to have fun, but also, hey, let's go get a college education, get college paid for. And, this is what we're going to do together as a family. And we're going to support each other and we're going to help each other. So it's definitely pretty unique.
Who are some of the most influential people in your career that have shaped you into the water skier that you are?
I would say my dad. I would also say Mark Lane, who's my coach since I was 9 or 10 years old. So for quite a long time, 20 years now. Jay Bennett, who runs Bennett's Water Ski School in Zachary, Louisiana. They've been really good mentors to me, encouraging, had the hard conversations of, hey, we need to change this technique. We need to work on this to kind of take you to the next level. So yeah, a lot of influence there.
What are some of your future plans in the sport of water skiing?
I don't know. I want to keep skiing for as long as I can and staying competitive for as long as I can. Truly, the next goal is to win some professional titles. I'm getting close. I have a few seconds, but and then also to break that 190 barrier and ultimately have the U.S. women's jump national record would be pretty amazing.
What advice would you give people in college that are looking to compete in water skiing?
I would say have fun with it. Enjoy competing, enjoy learning from others, because that's really what it's all about. You can never undo those experiences, and you really just cannot take it for granted.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to compete professionally in water skiing and represent Team USA?
That would be to make sure that you're taking every set with intention, making sure that you're skiing to the best of your ability, surround yourself with good people, surround yourself with a good support system, coaches, make sure you have a plan in the gym, make sure you have your nutrition plan in line. All those little pieces make up that big piece, and you gotta make sure that the chips are all in.
What advice would you give those people that are transitioning from college water skiing to professional water skiing?
Give yourself as many opportunities to get those experiences. You know, it can be intimidating to go to professional tournaments, but you have to put yourself out there and compete and see what that's like and get more experience.
What advice would you give those people, such as yourself, balancing being a professional athlete and water skiing and also having a 9-to-5 regular job?
Figure out your priorities and figure out, what can you cut out that is not going to disrupt your performance and your goals.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
You can find me on Instagram. I am at Britt, BRIT.Greenwood, GREENWOOD. I have some water skiing stuff over there.
Thank you again, Brittany Greenwood, for your interview, and best of luck in your future in the U.S. water skiing.
Thank you.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Brittany Greenwood, for your interview, and best of luck in your future in the U.S. water skiing.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.